Hi, John.
Hi.
I'm just going to ask you some questions in a one on one interview around your thoughts of professional learning in a rural setting. So we'll just start off with the questions and be as honest and open as you'd like to be, positive, negative, or otherwise.
Okay.
And we'll just start. What did you like about the flipped professional learning as compared to the traditional conference style of learning?
I think that I think there's a few things that I really, really valued about that execution model. One was that it preserved enough flexibility for me to make the outside of the class, like pre-learning thing, work for me around my schedule. Professionals are busy, and none of us has any time for anything. So I think that it did a good job of was it being a thing that I could scramble out late at night the night before, or get done at some point of convenience for me in anticipation. And I think it helped that it was executed in a way that was suitably in advance, that I could kind of fit it into my calendar, my schedule on my own initiative. I think it also did a nice job of kind of preserving that time in the actual face-to-face session for collaboration, discussion, and drilling down to kind of the more important parts of the learning, rather than having to burn a lot of time on the traditional classroom. Like, okay, now we take 10 minutes to read, now we think, now we pair, now we share. Like, we could skip some of that because we'd already done some of that on our own independently. So.
Thank you. Did you feel your time was well spent having the flexibility to learn the material beforehand so that you were able to use face-to-face time to apply the knowledge you'd already learned? And you answered that a bit
Yeah,
before.
I suppose I preempted that question. Yes, right. I do feel that way.
Yes. Did the material make sense to you while you were learning it in a flipped learning situation?
Yes, I think it did. I think balance was struck in kind of like, it was some of it was challenging material. It's grade level appropriate, I guess, professional, pedagogical strategy practice stuff. So yeah, but it made sense. At first, I think in execution, the Google Classroom looked a little bit daunting, more daunting than it was going to, in its structure and appearance. Although once I actually got into it, then it was fine. So.
Thanks. Was the facilitator helpful in the face-to-face professional learning to help apply the information you learned through the flipped learning to your context?
Yes, I think so. I think there was more time for talking about each of us with our contexts, and kind of comparing notes and having a group discussion that was managed by the facilitator, to reflect on what it meant to us, precisely because we didn't have to do all of the article debriefing and digestion and communication pieces.
Okay. So. Have your thoughts changed around your preferred format for professional learning? And can you explain that?
I think I was already a fan of kind of multiple models of blended online and flexible learning environments, for other reasons, and mostly through the lens of for students. But I've long kind of been a proponent of the idea that what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and if something is good for kids, then it's probably good for their teachers too. I think so I don't think my thoughts have changed, because I did already feel like learning like this would be probably more efficient and effective.
Thanks. Have any barriers been alleviated by using a flip model for professional learning? Why or why not?
I think time is really the most cited barrier for anything amongst professionals and learning professionals, and I think this one did mitigate that barrier a bit.
Okay. So. If you could design the ideal professional learning experience, what would it look like?
Well, obviously free food. I think the ideal professional learning experience is the same as the ideal learning experience. But off the top of my head, I think something that's scaffolded appropriate to my needs and context, and that fits my schedule as far as implementation and execution. So I think that to my mind, what I'm always looking for in professional learning is something that's helpful for me, forces and challenges me to rethink what I need to do, but and that I can, not necessarily that I can walk out working, but that I'm walking out knowing what I need to do to be working. And as far as like the mechanics, the ergonomics of the experience, I think that the kind of experience that lends itself to that learning is one that minimizes time, energy, and barrier. So,
Okay. What was your preferred format for professional learning before participating in this research? And have your thoughts changed around that?
I am rather preferential to sitting in a lecture hall and keeping quiet because my learning style is very much well suited to the traditional lecture and classroom model. But I know that I'm probably a minority. And although I like that kind of professional learning experience, I know